This is a comparison between the HTC Diamond 2 and the Sony Ericsson P910i. They're two very different phones from very different eras. HTC's phone being released in 2009, Sony Ericsson being released in 2004. I've been using the Sony Ericsson since about 2006, so about 4 years continuously. I've just upgraded to the HTC Diamond 2. So I thought this would be an interesting comparison. Obviously the HTC is the more modern phone. It's got much more modern styling, looks nicer, it's smaller, cleaner lines, it's a good looking phone. The P910 is a larger phone, has a slightly smaller screen. Not quite as good looking, it's a large phone even when it was released in 2004. With the controls, the HTC doesn't have a great deal of controls. On the left here you've got a volume control down and up, a power control at the top that also turns the screen on and off, and down the bottom 4 buttons: start call, Windows, back and hang up. There's also a little slider here, magnifying glass. You can zoom in and out using this slider, it's a touch. Now, the Sony Ericsson has a lot more buttons available. You've got the power button here on the left. You've got what's called a jog dial, which I'll come back to in a moment. On the other side we've got 2 buttons. Great thing about the jog dial is it moves up and down. It's a little hard to see on the screen here. It also clicks in, so you can select by pressing in. It also goes backwards and forwards. So this jog dial can go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 directions, which is a really handy feature. Because when you're holding the phone, the jog dial is up there next to your thumb, and these 2 buttons are next to your finger, you can do a lot of things with this all in your left hand without even thinking. It's very, very intuitive, fantastic once you get used to it. The HTC though, not really designed so well when it comes to the buttons. The volume buttons, well, you're not using them very often. The ones you really want to use are right down the bottom here, which is a real stretch for your thumb when you're working with the left hand. So you tend to have to reach over with your right hand, which is not so handy when you're walking or just needing to access things quickly. The other problem with the buttons on HTC is that none of them are programmable except for this one, the start call button, and that's only programmable for when you hold it down for about a second. With the P910, all of these buttons are programmable. You can program each jog dial movement to do anything you want, both of these buttons to do anything you want. You can even program the power button to do anything you want, and there's even programming available for if you hold it down for a second compared to if you tap it. It means you can completely personalize this phone. Considering this is a 6-year-old phone compared to a modern phone, I'm surprised that HTC doesn't allow you to do this. They've both got styluses. The HTC is really designed not to be used with the stylus. That said, it uses Windows Mobile, and Windows Mobile really needs a stylus in a lot of situations. So unfortunately, because the phone is designed to be used with the fingers, but then sometimes you need the stylus, you tend to go back and forth quite a lot, which is a real pain to be doing one thing and then have to move into another technique. The Sony Ericsson, because most of your actions are happening with the jog dial and the buttons, it's very rare that you need to press on the screen, and when you do, you're pretty much using the stylus all the time. Now the stylus is on the top with the P910, which I think is a really convenient place to put it. You can pull it out really easily and you're ready to go. The stylus on the HTC is on the bottom, which I don't really see as a convenient place. It's where your hand is, so you've got to move your fingers if they happen to be there, and pulling it towards you, it doesn't put it into a natural position. You tend to have to turn the stylus around before you start using it. I don't see any reason why it can't be up at the top. As well as that, the P910 has a fantastic setup for the way the stylus is made. It's probably a little hard to see, but this shape here is really designed to work well with the stylus. if you put the stylus in, you can see it needs to go in at a certain angle to fit in. If you happen to put it in at the wrong angle, this is 90 degrees off, it doesn't matter. It will actually spin around on its own into the right position. Even if you have it 180 degrees away, just push it in, it will spin around. Fantastic design. It means that when you're walking or in a hurry, you don't have to think about where you're putting the stylus in, you just shove it in and it's done. Now the HTC isn't designed like that. Once again, very similar design for the stylus itself, but when you put it in, it has to be at the exact right angle. So that goes in fine, but if you put it in at any angle, doesn't matter what angle it is, it's simply not going to go in, which means when you put it in you have to be thoughtful about making sure it lines up. You don't really want to think about what angle the stylus is going in when you use your phone, you just want to think about other things. That said, the HTC has a magnet sensor on the stylus inside the phone, which means that when you pull it out, it either turns the phone on if it's not in active mode, or if you're actually on a phone call, it will bring up a notes pad and then you can take notes, so you don't have to fiddle around getting to notes menus. It does it all automatic, which is a great idea. With the build quality, the HTC is actually quite a good build quality. It's got metal in it, which is really nice, just to have some metal in your phone. A little bit of brushed metal at the back here, but that's really more for show. This is all plastic. The only problem with this really is that it's a real fingerprint magnet, as you can pretty much Google fingerprint magnet and HTC Touch Diamond 2, you'll get all the hits you need. The problem I've got with it more though is that it's a bit slippery, and I'm just waiting for the day that I pull it out of my pocket and it just goes flying out of my hand. It's got to happen sooner or later. But it does feel like a toughly built phone. It does feel very well built compared to a lot of phones out there. The P910, well, this one's got about 5 years of use on it, continuous use and intensive use. It's been dropped many, many times. It's even been run over by a car tyre, and it still works perfectly. While the HTC is tough, this phone is incredibly tough. It's an extremely tough phone. It's also got this, which you don't have to put in, but I think is a really handy feature. This has saved it being dropped at least 2 out of 3 times. Now, the cameras on these phones, the HTC's got a 5 megapixel camera which takes fantastic photos, really good photos, really happy with that. The P910 takes the old 640 by 480 photos, the ones that you'd expect from a phone probably 8 years ago when the cameras first came out. In terms of smartphones, this was actually considered behind the times, even at the time when this phone came out in 2004. Smartphones or PDAs were expected just to have something slightly better. It was the idea of having a PDA is everything in place at once. Now, turning them on, well actually just before that, everything goes through a USB port on the HTC, including the headphones, including charging, including data transfer. It is a little inconvenient to have everything going through that port, but it's not really so bad. With the P910, you've got your charging port, your headphones port, or you can use a 2.5 headphone jack, and it is really nice being able to have a headphone jack in your phone. It makes all the difference. In fact, I'm surprised that most phones don't just have a 3.5 jack these days. Turning on the phones, I'll turn them both on at the same time. P910 asks if you'd like to go into flight mode or not. And I don't actually have a working SIM card in this one. But you can see the P910 loads up much faster than the HTC, and we'll have a look at the software in the next video.